Okay, let's talk about you, Miss Reed, because I'm still floating about the movie. But what is fascinating to me is after seeing it, I can't imagine anybody else doing this role but you. But to read that you were like, I don't know if I have a chance. I don't know. I don't want to know anything about it. What doubt did you have?
Well, because I had never seen anyone like me play it on the stage, so I didn't think they were looking for a me in this. So I just thought, well, if I like put a protective circle around myself and don't even think about it, then I can't be let down if it doesn't ever come my way. Then I could just love it from afar.
Yeah. Did you really want this role? You know, some actresses say, I was okay if I got it. I was okay if I didn't. But some people say I really wanted this role. Did you feel that?
This was one of those roles that I wanted, and
why did you want it?
I just felt like a kinship with Elphaba. I could understand what she meant and what she was going through. I loved the music, and I loved the idea of this being brought to everyone. And I guess part of me was like, it's such a big project. I don't know if they put it in my hands. Yeah.
So you said, okay, I
don't tell me anything about it. I don't want to know. I told my team I don't want to know unless it is actually coming my way for an audition. I just don't want to know. Don't tell me who's going in. Don't tell me how many people are auditioning for it. I don't want to know. Just give me no information. Let me be ignorant.
When you go in for the audition, what are you thinking? Not knowing anything about anything. What was your process? What was your mission? What were you thinking?
So before I went in, I had happened to be in the same place as John, and we started talking about
John Chu, the director.
John Chu, the director. We started talking about it and what I thought about Elphaba, how I felt about her, what she meant to me, and when I'd first been introduced to this piece and my thoughts about it. And we sort of found a quick friendship, which was really lovely. Then we had another conversation after that, where I think he was just sort of like feeling me out, seeing how I felt about it. Then I got the message that I was supposed to come in. And I think this was the last audition that they had for this particular character. And
the last audition?
No. Or at least one of the very last. And I had a 3-hour session with 2 other actresses. And I think it was my first and last audition. I came in, read, sang a lot, and then I knew that I wanted to put everything on the table. I think in a way John set it up for me so it was mine to lose, you know? So I just had to do the work that was necessary beforehand and lay it all on the floor when I got there. And I was happy to do that.
So when you found out you got it,
yes.
Where were you? How did you get the news? What did you do?
I was in London. I think I was shooting Luther at this point. It was 1 a.m. in the morning. My team sent me an email to tell me that there was some sort of IP, like a project, a book that we needed to look at that could be really good for us to produce or whatever. And me being me was like, great, okay, when do you need me to talk to whomever? When should this happen? They were like, now. I think the
1 a.m.
At 1 a.m. I believe them because they're not 1 a.m. in LA. I was like, okay, the time difference is fine. We'll go with it. So I get ready to get on Zoom. They send me the link. I click the link. John M. Chu comes up, and I don't put 2 and 2 together. I'm still.
What's wrong with you?
It's 1 a.m. in the morning in London. Is what's wrong with me.
But it's John Chu.
I know, but then if I jump immediately to it, I know. But if I jump immediately to it, then who knows?
Who knows?
So I was like, look, maybe this is his book. It can't be. I'm sure it's not that. So we'll just. And the thing is, I'm still not putting 2 and 2 together that it's that John M. Chu. It's just like John Chu. It's like, okay, good. So we get on.
You mean on the screen?
On the screen, it's just like the name comes up. And so then he comes up, then other people start coming into the frame, and I'm like, this is interesting. But John starts talking, so he starts telling me about this girl that he, heard about that was stealing away at drama school with a friend of hers to sing the music, and she would always go and sing when she felt a little bit out of place, and then she walks into this room one day and starts telling the story about this green girl. And then I start putting two together, and I'm like, I can't even this has to, and I can't form the words. And then he says, well, I don't know what planet you came from, but I think the world should see you. And I just burst into tears. I don't think I was articulate at all. I think I just didn't have the words. All I could say was thank you so much.
Yes.
And I cried. That was it.
And now that you've done it and you've nailed it on the screen, what does this mean to you?
I mean, this is such a big undertaking. It's such a big moment for me, and I said before, I didn't know that in my lifetime I'd be able to do something like this. It's so huge. It means a lot. I keep getting people reaching out to see me playing this role means a lot to them. It feels like it allows them to feel included in something so big, and it goes beyond the wicked of it all, and especially because John's so careful with the details of this movie that he manages to tie in all the things from The Wizard of Oz, which means that this legacy is so much bigger than just Wicked itself. It goes past into the lore of Oz, and so to be able to be a part of that huge, massive legacy is wild and crazy. And to be the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yes, I know. I mean, it's iconic, and you will go down in history. That's the
so
thing I'm so excited about. I also understand that you had a lot of say in how you wanted Elphaba to look. In terms of her hair and her nails.
Yes.
Let's show the nails here. This way. That you were very specific about what you wanted. What did you want in terms of her look?
I knew that I wanted micro braids. So I'd also been paying attention to the previous looks of Elphaba, so I always knew that she had like long hair, but I wanted it to be really specific because underneath the green, I am who I am. So what I wanted was for the hair to still tie into me and who I am beneath it, and so we went with micro braids, really long, sort of wavy micro braids, and they're so sweet and detailed. And I wanted freckles because I felt like when you come into her face, the freckles sort of, they warm her up, they endear her to you. And John and I were going back and forth about what we wanted her eyes to be like. I was like, how magical do we want this to feel? How sort of pulled away from reality do we want her green to feel? And I felt like changing the eye color could give her just something extra. You look and you think, well, there's something about her, not just the green, but there's something. And we tried to find the different eye colors, and some of them just pulled you too far away from her, so you couldn't get into her emotion. You couldn't come in, I couldn't let you in. And then there was another pair of eyes that just, they weren't far enough. And we settled on these beautiful green, just the right color green, that open her face up, but they still give you that sort of, there's something different about her. Yeah. And the nails came not just from me, but doing the research on Margaret Hamilton. When I looked at the original Wicked Witch of the West, there's this wonderful picture of her in black and white, but she's got like a shadow that comes out just behind her, and her hands are sort of like this. And when I went to take a look at them and the film, she had nails. So I was like, well, where do those come from? They won't just turn up when she becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. I wonder if that's part of like the DNA of her. So we started discussing what that could be, and could that be part of the progression of the Wicked Witch? So we started with a shorter set of nails that were very close to the green that her skin was. And as you go on, the nails start to change, the colour starts to change, and they become part of who she is.
Well, you know, it's interesting because you notice I'm wearing green, just for you. I changed 3 times, and then I had to say, what is the right shade of green? Is there a right shade of green, in your opinion, for her?
For her, it's emerald green.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the first time you saw you as her, all greened up, what did you think when you looked in the mirror and saw yourself?
It was an emotional day. I mean, even before we had the full look, we did a camera test, and without hair, just green makeup and eyes, and even that was like, whoa, this is real. Like we're really changing, we're really transforming. And when the whole thing comes together and the hat is on, I had chills, and I think I was a little bit emotional to see it really come together, that the Wicked Witch was there, like she existed,
And then there was a thing in the news recently that you were upset about the poster. Help me understand, because I looked at the poster and I thought, why were you upset about it, that you thought it was disrespectful, the way they did the hat or darken the hat?
Well, I didn't think it was disrespectful. I understood where it came from because the illustration is for the original show. And we have our own Whisper poster, which is an homage to that. I think for me, I was just sort of having a human moment. I think I'm very protective of this character and the work that has been done, and the work that's been done on that poster by Sophie, who is wonderful and wanted to pay great homage to these characters and who we are. And I think that me being able to express and connect with our audience was just something I was very protective over. So I had a human moment and probably should have just called a friend.
No. I'm just curious myself, because when I looked at it, I didn't think that it was, I thought they were trying to mimic the hat. That's what I thought they were trying to do. I didn't think that they were trying to take anything away from it.
And I'm sure they
so
were.
If they did,
I think it's
if
the
they did, I wanted to understand it.
Yeah, and I think I think the fans and we both are very passionate about this piece.
Yeah.
And I'm very passionate about what we've done with this piece, and they're very passionate about this and the piece that exists before. And I think we both just were showing a passion.
Had a moment. I like how you said I probably should have just called a friend.
Yes.
But you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when somebody takes a picture and they say, "Oh, but Gayle, you look so good." I go, "I don't. You know, and they said, "No, but you do." But everybody can say it, but if I don't see it I don't feel it, it doesn't matter what anybody else says. So I likened it to that, but I just wanted to make sure, was it something that I missed? Because I'm saying, they better not, I don't want anybody to feel, I didn't want you to feel disrespected anyway, and I just wanted to understand what that was. Yeah. The other thing that's so endearing to me is the relationship between you and Ariana. Yeah. Because it's, you know, Good Witch, and it's Wicked Witch and Good Witch. Did you two know each other before this project?
No, before this project, we had never, we'd been in the same room, but like in passing, but had never met each other. So this was the first time we'd met. When we found out we were both playing the role, the two of us, the first time we met was at my house, because we both were like, hey, we should connect. Yes. We should meet before we jump into this giant thing.
And what did you guys do at your house for
Sat
meeting?
On the floor and just ate crudité and talked.
And ate what?
Crudité.
Crudité, okay.
Carrots, and vegetables.
I've heard of them.
Hummus and things.
And then you just sat and just talked.
Just sat and talked on my floor. That was that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Did you feel an instant connection or bond?
Yeah.
Because when I see you guys on the screen, and I've seen you out and about, it does seem to me that you all are now bonded for life in some way to me. It doesn't seem like just movie friends, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It was really interesting because we connected quickly, immediately. I think we just both really understood how much this thing was going to mean to us, and how much work we would need to do together, and how much we both want to like protect and love this piece as much as, you know, the other. And in order to do that, we also had to make space for each other. So there was a real respect immediately. And I think she had respect for me and I had respect for her as artists before we even had met. And so to meet each other and to understand that we both have a kinship in that was really special. And then as we went on, when we first sang together, that was a moment for us. We went to John's house, he had a dinner, and Stephen Schwartz was there, Cynthia and Arianas. And after dinner, Stephen Schwartz gets on the piano, and we sort of think, well, do we sing something? And we sing For Good together. That's the first time we sing together, and our voices work. And when you realize that a person's voice works with yours and your voice works with theirs, you understand that there's an implicit sort of understanding that we're going to keep listening to each other, because that's how our voices really work, when you're trying to listen for what the other person is doing, so you can match and you can go with them. And that that itself set us up for, we're really in this together.
No, there are times in the movie where honestly the hair stood up on the back of my neck, and you know, you can't control your hair standing up on the back of your neck.
That will do it on its own.
I know, that's just how powerful and how magical it is.
Thank you.
And the two of you together are
I love her. She's special.
Yeah. What is it that, why do you think the two of you have bonded so quickly and so deeply?
Because I think we made a decision at the beginning that we were going to take care of each other. Like right at the beginning, before we'd started shooting, we decided we were going to make space and take care of each other. If anything difficult came up, we would have the conversations, we would talk to each other, we would always be honest with each other. If I needed space, I would say I needed space. If she needed space, she would tell me she needed space. Nothing was off the table for discussing. So we were always really honest. Our relationship has been very honest from the very beginning. So it means that we can talk about matters of the heart. We could talk about, you know, like even my music. When we were both she was making an album, and I'd be making my album. We've been passing music back and forth, and she's been telling me what she thinks about things, and I was telling her what I liked and all of that because I trust her, and I trust her ear, and I trust her opinion, and I trust her heart. I know that she's coming from a really honest place.
Yeah.
So it's just
I like that.
yeah.
And to say that, I trust her and I trust her heart, it doesn't get any better than that. And I look at your career, you said as a queer actress, what this means to you.
Yeah.
What do you mean when you say that?
Because I know that Wicked itself has a really beautiful queer following. Yeah. There are loads of, all of my queer babies are out there sort of following after Elphaba, because she is on the outside, and she is the misfit. She's different, and there's something about that connects to us who are queer. We are the misfits. We're sort of on the outside, and we're different. We feel different. We are different. And I think to be able to do this in this time as me in this way feels like an ode, a love letter to everyone who feels different and feels like they're on the outside. Yeah.
God, it so feels like it's meant to be to me. Does it to you?
Yeah, I think so. And sometimes you think, I didn't realize it was in my destiny until I realized it was in my destiny, which is really special.
I'm going to wrap it up with this. When you think about, or how has this role changed you?
I think...
Has it changed you? Is I guess the first question. If so, how?
I think it's impossible to not be changed by something like this, because I think I've learned there's something about Elphaba that welcomes the hurt and the pain and uses that to love. And I think I've learned to be more patient with myself because of that. I think I'm a loving person, but I think she's made me become even more loving, more patient, and definitely more accepting. And I've always been accepting of myself, but definitely more accepting of all that I am. In this, I've been able to really discuss being a queer woman and being Black and being different. And when you get to talk about that often, it sort of like deepens the acceptance of all of that. I think that's very special.
I get that.
And of course, coming away with friendships that hopefully will last a lifetime, that feel like we were meant to meet, That's life-changing.
I so get that. And you are Emmy,
yes,
Grammy,
yes,
Tony.
Yes.
The one thing missing is an Oscar, which would make you an EGOT. Is that something you even think about, or you don't even... Because I say put it out into the world, Cynthia.
Yes.
Put it out.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about being one thing away from an EGOT?
I'm very grateful to be in this position. I do put it out into the universe because there's things... I think sometimes people are like, awards don't matter. Well, I think sometimes they do. And I think sometimes... the reason I think they do is because it widens the aperture on the things, on the possibilities of what you can do. And I want to do more. I want to adventure more. I want to play more in this world. I want to create bigger atmospheres and all of that stuff. So, there's something really beautiful about being in this position. And if it happens, it happens. And I'll be extremely grateful for it. And I'll put it into the universe. Yes. And if that's what happens, then I welcome it.
Oprah Daly's going to put it in the universe, too.
You.
Cynthia Erivo, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You did
I love
that.
it. Thank you very much.
You did that.